The windshield came in like the fist of God. I was 19, and somewhere in the dark of that ditch, a stranger was whispering my name like a prayer I was too broken to hear. He held me for 23 minutes while I bled onto his shirt and begged him to tell my parents I was okay, even though they were already gone. He never told me his name. No one ever did. If you've ever lost someone you weren't allowed to remember, hit subscribe and like this video. Leave one word below. Yes, even just a fire emoji. Because the kind of truth we're walking into tonight needs more witnesses. You will not want to miss the last 8 minutes. 7 years later, I was crouched at the back of my engine at the Sparks Lake fire when a man in a green pullover walked out of the bay and handed me a bottle of water. His name tag said J. Koval. He had a scar on the bridge of his nose and the kind of hands that move like they've spent a long time making small things work. He didn't look at me. He didn't smile. He just said, "Captain Halsey, good crew today." Thanks, Koval. I didn't recognize him, but my body did. My left thigh fired, my palm dampened. I watched him walk into the smoke and I thought, I have seen those hands before. He was our new seasonal hand. Station Chief Yarrow said, "He came out of Wyoming. Good record. Quiet kid. Needs a job." What's his full name? James Kowalski. Why does he go by Koval? Doesn't matter. Take him or leave him. I took him. 2 weeks into the season, we had a false summit call. Black smoke. We ran 4 miles uphill to find a stump fire. While we packed up, I checked names with my crew. Koval, you good? He looked up. Yeah, Captain. State your name. He hesitated. James Kowalski. It wasn't the hesitation of a liar. It was the hesitation of a man who'd been using a different first name for a long time. That night I pulled his personnel file. James Bear Kowalski, 36, Wyoming Corrections, released 3 months ago. Corrections? Ex-con. I closed the file. I wasn't going to ask. 2 days later, my fiancé, Liam, flew in for the weekend. We'd been together 2 years. He was a structural engineer. Clean hands, clean boots. The kind of man who pays for dinner without being asked. We sat on the tailgate of my truck, and he handed me a ring box. Iris, I've been waiting. I opened it. A small fire opal, gold band. I said yes, because that's what you do when the man you love asks, and you're not brave enough to ask yourself anything bigger. Liam flew out Sunday morning. Bear Kowalski stood by the kitchen counter, hands in his pockets, watching the taillights disappear up the canyon road. "You're engaged," Bear said. "Just got engaged." "Good man." "You don't know him." "I know him enough." "How?" He didn't answer. The wedding was set for July 27th, 7 years exactly from the crash. I didn't notice that date. Milo, my older brother, did. "July 27th, Iris?" "Yeah. What's wrong with you?" "Nothing." Milo. "Pick another date." "Why?" "Because it's YOLO." "Milo, it's June 28. What are you doing?" "Iris, please trust me. Pick the 28th. I picked the 28th. I didn't know why. 6 weeks later, the Halsey fire blew up. 12,000 acres, 2 crews, 5 engines. Bear was on my line. We were cutting a finger when the wind shifted. 90 seconds to retreat. The fire came fast. Suddenly, Bear was on the radio. "Captain, get behind that rock." I was behind the rock in 4 strides. He dropped in next to me. The fire ran over us like a train. It passed. He was breathing hard. I was breathing hard. Our faces were 6 inches apart. Bear. Yeah, Captain? Have we met before? He looked at me. No. I almost believed him. The next morning I got a call from Milo. He sounded wrecked. Iris, I have to tell you something before I lose my nerve. Tell me. I got an email yesterday from a man in Wyoming. His name is Bear Kowalski. He says he knew Mom and Dad. He says he was there that night. My hand went cold. What do you mean he was there? The night of the crash. Iris, he was the other driver. There's no other driver. We were hit by a semi. The driver left the scene. There was no semi, Iris. Bear was driving the other vehicle. He hit us. .14 blood alcohol. He should have gone to prison for manslaughter. He didn't. What do you mean he didn't? He took a deal. What deal? I don't have all of it yet, but I know this. Dad was driving. Mom took the impact. The case became complicated because of evidence. Someone paid the family a settlement. Bear served 7 years of a 15-year sentence. He was released 3 months ago. Why am I just hearing this? Because Grandpa made me sign a paper. What paper? A paper that said if I ever told you, Grandpa would cut me out of his estate and out of Mom and Dad's life insurance. He said he was protecting you. Protecting me from what? From knowing that a drunk driver had been paid by your own family to take the fall, and that he had been a kid. He was 26, Iris, and he took the fall to give your family peace. I sat down on the kitchen floor. Does Grandpa know Bear is here? He's known for 3 months. Bear came straight to your station. Grandpa tried to keep him out of state. Grandpa failed. Why would Bear come to me? Think about it, Iris. I can't. Bear took the fall to protect your family name. Bear was paid by Grandpa to keep quiet. Bear went to prison. Bear got out. Why would he walk into a fire station where the daughter of the dead couple works? He didn't know who I was. He knew exactly who you were. Why did he come? He came to make sure you were alive. He came to see the thing he took from himself by taking the fall. Milo, I need you to drive down here. I'm 3 hours out. I hung up. I pressed my forehead against my palm. I tried to think. I couldn't. I called Grandpa Walter. He picked up on the first ring. Hello, sweetheart. Tell me about July 27th, 2019. A long, careful breath. I don't know what you mean. Bear Kowalski, the deal, the settlement, Mom and Dad, the other driver. Silence. Grandpa. Sit down, Iris. I am sitting. Good. Then listen. He told me. Mom and Dad were out driving that night. I was in the back seat. Bear Kowalski had had 4 beers at a barbecue. He hit us on a bend. Mom died at the scene. Dad died at the hospital. I was 23 minutes from bleeding to death. Bear pulled me from the car. He held me. He called 911. He didn't leave until the paramedics took me. Then the police arrested him. Vehicular manslaughter. 2 counts. 15 years. Grandpa visited him in jail. Grandpa said, "If you take the blame alone, my granddaughter will never have to carry the name the crash survivor. She'll never be asked about the drunk driver. She'll be free to live. I'll pay for your defense. I'll pay the family restitution your parents left. I'll make sure your record is healable when you get out. Your only job is to never say a word." Bear took the deal. He pled guilty to 2 counts. He took 15 years. He served 7. He was released on a technicality because of overcrowding. He came to my fire station because he had nowhere else to go. Because the small engine repair shop in Cody, Wyoming that Grandpa had helped him buy had burned down. Because Bear didn't know how to do anything except drive or fight fire. Because Bear had been watching my station's hiring announcements since I was 23. And Grandpa had been paying his bills through a fake GoFundMe account the entire time. I sat on the floor and cried for 27 minutes. When I could breathe again, I said, "Grandpa, why didn't he tell me the day he showed up at my station?" Because he made me promise him. Part of his deal was that he would never have contact with you. He promised. He kept that promise until Sparks Lake. Is he in love with me? He never has been. What is he to me? He's the man who held you while you bled. He's also the man who put you in that ditch. He is both. He has lived with being both for 7 years. Did he mean to? No, sweetheart. Did you? I did what I thought would save you. Did you ever plan to tell me? When you were older. I'm older, Grandpa. You are. I hung up. Liam called at 6 p.m. How are you, baby? I'm getting married tomorrow. What's wrong? A lot. Iris, talk to me. There's something I have to tell you before I marry you. Tell me. Not on the phone. I can be there in 3 hours. I need you here in 3 hours. Then I'll be there. He hung up. Milo arrived at 7 p.m. He brought a folder. Inside, the original police report. Photos of the crash scene. The court transcripts. The plea agreement. A copy of Grandpa's payment ledger to Bear, week by week, for 7 years. I read it all. Then I called Bear. Bear? Yes, Captain. I know who you are. Yes. Did you mean to stay quiet? Yes. Why? Because I made a promise. To a man who had no right to make you promise anything. He had every right. I killed your parents. You were 26. You had 4 beers. You hit a bend. You didn't kill my parents to kill my parents. My blood alcohol was 0.14, Iris. I was twice the legal limit. You were a kid. You will always be a kid to my parents. A long silence. Bear. Yes, Captain. I have to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth. Yes. Did you hold me in that ditch? Yes. Did you tell them I was okay? Yes. My parents? Yes. They were already gone, weren't they? Yes, Iris. I closed my eyes. Thank you. Don't thank me. What do you want from me? Nothing. I have wanted nothing from you for 7 years. I wanted you to live. That's all I ever wanted. You had a fire in your shop last year. Yes. Was that legitimate? I don't know. The fire inspector said it was electrical. Did Grandpa? I don't know, Iris. Bear, don't lie to me. I don't know. I have been afraid to ask. I have been afraid to know. My grandfather bought you a shop and burned it down to keep you away from me? I am not saying that. Your silence is. I want to come see you, Captain. In person. Not on the phone. Not on the line. In person. To say the words out loud. Not to apologize. Not to ask for forgiveness. Just to say them in front of the woman I held when she was 19. Bear, my fiancé is flying in. Don't let him come. Why? Because I'm being transferred to Oregon in 2 days. This is my last week. After this, I'll never see you again. Please don't let me go without saying these words. I made the call. I broke the engagement to Liam over speakerphone so Bear could hear me make the choice. Liam cried. Then he said, I wish you had told me a week ago. I wish I had known. Will you marry me someday? No, Liam. I'm sorry. I have to let this man speak, and I have to listen. Take care of yourself, Iris. You too. He hung up. Bear arrived at 6 p.m. the next day. The day of the wedding I had canceled. I had on a white t-shirt. He had on his green pullover. We sat on the tailgate of my truck. He said the words, I killed your parents. I held you. I told them you were alive. I kept the promise I made to your grandfather. I served 7 years. I have carried this for 7 years. I didn't speak. I do not deserve to be in your life. I do not deserve your hand. I do not deserve the air you breathe. I have come here to say these words out loud so you can know them, and so I can stop carrying them alone. I said, Is that all? He said, That's all. I said, Bear. He said, Captain. I said, My parents died because of a 4-beer mistake and a bend in the road. I bleed every July 27th. My brother pretended the date was a coincidence. My grandfather built a wall around my grief. I have walked through life carrying a wound no one named. He nodded. I don't forgive you. I don't think I can ever forgive you. But I want you to stay in Oregon. I want you to take the fire assignment. I want you to be far enough away that I can remember you without seeing you. I want you to live. Because if you die, the 4-beer mistake becomes the only thing my parents were. His face fell. He said, I understand. He turned to leave. Bear. He stopped. Come to my parents' grave. Bring wine. Sit with me for 1 hour. Tell me what their hands looked like, from the ditch. Tell me if they said anything to each other as they were dying. Carry it for 1 more year. Then I'll ask you again next year, and the year after. Until I am brave enough to forgive you. Or until one of us is dead. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I'll be there." Good. He walked to the engine bay. I walked to the crew. We didn't touch. We didn't look at each other. We didn't say goodbye. The engine started. The crew left. I stood in the empty bay and cried for 32 minutes. Then I texted Bear, "Bring wine that smells like sage." They liked sage. He texted back, "They liked whiskey." I stared at my phone. I had never told him they liked whiskey. How did he know? He had been at the barbecue that night. He had talked to them. They had been neighbors of his parents at the lake that summer. I drove to the station house at 1 a.m. I sat in my truck and let the engine idle. I thought, a man who hit my parents on a bend in a road also knew their whiskey preference from a barbecue at our cabin in 2017. A man who held me in a ditch because I was 23 minutes from death also came to my fire station because he had nowhere else to go. A man who took a fall to give me a clean name has carried my grief like my father would have. He is not the villain of my story. He is the wound that never closed. And on July 27, 2032, I will be sitting at my parents' grave with a bottle of whiskey and a man I don't know how to forgive. And I will finally say the words I haven't said since I was 19. I will say, "Thank you for saving me." And the wind will come off the bay, and it will smell like sage and smoke and the first cool day of summer, and I will finally be free. If this story mattered, share it with someone who has a wound they never named. Subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments what year you finally forgave someone. I'll read every single one.